Welcome to the Hidden Palace with Skyblaze.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. I am Skyblaze, and this is the Hidden Palace here on Radio SEGA. Finally. It's been a while. I apologise for my prolonged absence. I had COVID, which was miserable. And then I've got another chest infection at the moment, which I'm kind of getting over. I'm okay, but if you hear me coughing, that's why. I also have a knee injury, so I'm falling to bits, basically. I mean, I'd like my cyborg replacement body now, please. But I'm here now, so let's proceed. My original plan for this episode was to do this particular show over Easter weekend, because it's about Easter eggs, so I figured that would be thematically appropriate. It is no longer Easter, but I think we can all enjoy some Easter eggs anyway. Because I'm sure there's lots of people who enjoy leftover chocolate. Not me, because I can't eat it, but still. Hello, Resident SD. Resident SD said they've missed the music, my intro music. Yeah, it's nice to be back. Hi, Electric Boogaloo. What else have we got? Pocket O'Leary. I think Nicholas Mann's around. Doan's around. So, hello to you. But let's actually start the topic. So, our first Easter egg can be found in Sonic Chaos for the Game Gear. And in order to see this Easter egg, you will need to bring up the sound test screen by inputting down, down, up, up, left, right, 1, start from the start screen of Sonic Chaos. Once you are in the sound test, inputting down, down, right, right, and 1 will have Sonic perform a Hadouken from Street Fighter 2. That's a bit random, but kinda cool. Oh, hi, Multiclass Geek. Resident SD said they shall eat chocolate in solidarity. And Electric Boogaloo is hoping that I get my new cybernetic enhancements. Thank you all. Sorry about that. As I said, still recovering from this chest infection, so trying to get rid of all the goo on my chest. And Electric Boogaloo has helpfully put a little image of the Hadouken that Sonic performs. Let's see, what else have we got? Oh yes, also in Sonic Chaos, you find in the first bonus stage that the rings of the stage are arranged to spell out Shima, Rei, and 500, which are the names of the game designers M. Shima, Rei, and Tadashi Ihori, who is known as 500ZO. Cool. Yeah, there was a thing in the 80s and 90s where a lot of Japanese devs in particular used to use aliases on credit screens instead of full names. I don't know if that's like to save on space because Japanese names tend to be pretty long, or if it was just a stylistic choice. I'm not sure. It'd be pretty interesting to find out though. 20s then posted a video of Sonic doing the Hadouken. Saying, of course, it looks better in motion. Yes, indeed it does. So, now toward the next bit. I'm going to loop the talk bed just in case. We have Ranger X, also known as X Ranza in Japan. Which was released on the Mega Drive back in 1993. This game has you playing as the Ranger X, an armoured exoskeleton suit, as you fight against the forces of Rahuna. Gameplay has you running and gunning, so pretty standard for that sort of time period. But the difficulty may be an issue for some people, which leads us nicely into the easy mode, which is the Easter egg. As in the Japanese version of the game, you can access the easy mode by hitting ABC 3 times as fast as possible while in the options menu. If you manage to enter it successfully, you would hear a sound. However, selecting easy mode and then starting a new game, you'll then be taken to a new version of the starting level, which is a lot more cute than the standard futuristic kind of cyberpunk look of the game. Here you'll encounter cute animals and other more cartoonish characters, but once you complete the stage, you'll then move on to the original starting level, starting at the easier difficulty. Electrobuggle is saying that the aliases used in the credit screens were because of headhunting fears. Apparently they were worried about programmers and developers being poached by other companies. I know that did happen quite a lot in America. I mean, there's at least one entire development house which was started because I think it was Atari refused to put devs' names in the credits. So that's interesting. So yeah, if anyone's got any pictures of this easy mode level, the cute one, I'd like to see it. Because I don't think I've got a copy of that. I don't think I've even got the ROM for it. Anyway, let's have some music. So, from Sonic Chaos on the Game Gear, we have Sleeping Egg Zone. I figured that was appropriate. And then from Ranger X, we have Stage 3-2, the River Boss. So, I hope you enjoy those, and I will speak to you after this music break. Please enjoy. we are back, and that was Ranger X Stage 3-2 River Boss. And before that we had from Sonic Chaos on the Game Gear, Sleeping Egg Zone. Yeah, the Ranger X soundtrack's actually pretty decent. I recommend that you have a listen if you get the chance to do so. Further to the thing about games developers being poached by other companies, Electric Boogaloo is saying that Street Fighter designer Takeshi Nishiyama was poached from Capcom by SNK and later made Fatal Fury with SNK. That's pretty interesting. And there's further information on a Polygon website, on the Polygon website, about the Street Fighter 1 and oral history. That's pretty interesting. Yes, fighting games is one of those areas that I don't know a huge amount about, possibly because I've never been particularly good at them, so I never really got into them all that much. I do still remember the gore code from the Mega Drive version of Mortal Kombat, though, for reasons. Yeah, thanks for keeping that, Brian. You can't remember your own phone number, but you remember the gore code from Mortal Kombat 1. Cheers, Brian. Moving on. We have a couple of Easter eggs from everyone's favourite racing game, Daytona USA. I'm pretty sure I've covered at least one of these before, but we're going back a couple of years, so I'll recap them all here anyway. First of all, on the expert track there is a statue of Jeffrey from Virtua Fighter. If you drive to have him in view and then start pressing X on the controller, his statue will start to move and you can even see him begin to do a breakdance. Then on the advanced track, just as you complete the first lap, on the left will be a slip road that leads to the pits. Instead of heading up to the pits, however, if you turn 180 degrees and head in the opposite direction, you'll see a road leading up into a tunnel. And at the end of this you will encounter a sign that says, "Congratulations, you just lost your sponsors." That's actually pretty funny. Excuse me. The last Easter egg we'll be covering for this game can be found when inputting your initials into the name entry screen. Inputting specific initials will then treat you to a high score jingle which is based on the music from the games that the initials represent. For example, if you input AB for Afterburner, OR for Outrun, SH for Space Harrier, VF for Virtual Fighter, or HO for Hang On, you will get a version of the jingle that's related to that game. In total, there are over 70 combinations, each with their own unique jingle sound. Electropical is saying in Daytona Championship USA they replaced the Jeffrey statue with the statue of Kira for some reason. And I'm pretty sure he can't break dance like Jeffrey did. Oh, that's rubbish! Why would they do that? Lame. That's very lame. I agree with Nicholas Aman. Poor Jeffrey. He was robbed. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with Twinnies from Streets and Multiclass Geek Street Racers. I don't... There. Fight Streeters. There. Right. Where was I? I've lost track of where I was. This is what happens when I'm away for a while. Oh, it's a meme. Okay, cool. I mean, I'm online a lot, but clearly not enough. Depending on your point of view. So, let's have some more music then. So from Daytona USA, we have The King of Speed. I just fancied listening to that one today. And then this one is a request, and it is an unused track from Dungeons & Dragons Warriors of the Eternal Sun. And it is Uklangor Battle, and that was requested by Doan. Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's more cut content than an Easter egg, but, you know, unused tracks are still pretty cool. So let's have a listen to those, and I'll be back after this music break to start talking about the Easter eggs in Shenmue. So stay tuned for that.
Rolling Sound! You're listening to The Hidden Palace with the wonderful Skyblaze, only on Radio Sega. Well, I guess if you're here, it's not that well hidden, is it?
That was Dungeons and Dragons Warriors of the Eternal Sun. I can say words. Uklangor Battle. It's an unused track. It was requested by Doan. So thanks for that, Doan. And before that we had from Daytona USA, The King of Speed. Further to the combinations of initials that you can use in Daytona USA to get different jingles, Nicholas Aman says a lot of them use abbreviations of the games that they are based on, but others are specifically for developers. Those ones were picked by the developers so that they could hear their favourite Sega tune whenever they played the game. Apparently this was revealed in an issue of Sega Saturn magazine, which appears to be a Japanese magazine according to the scan that Nick's put up there. Although apparently it wasn't just developers, but a lot of other AM2 staff members as well, like the programmer and planner for Rent a Hero, Keiji Okuyasu, who asked for Fight Rent a Hero as his jingle. Which actually pretty interesting and cute piece of information, you know. Just have a bunch of unique jingles in there, just for fun. I like that. That's pretty cool. Next we have some Easter eggs which can be found in the Shenmue series. So in Shenmue 1, Ryo has a Sega Saturn, which he can play with, although to do so he will need to win the second prize at the store raffle in either the Tomato convenience store or in the Harbour Lounge. The games you get to win are Space Harrier and Hang On. Interestingly though, while Space Harrier was released on the Saturn as part of the Sega Ages name, Hang On wasn't. It's possible that it was planned to be at one point, but was ultimately cancelled for whatever reason, but it's difficult to say for sure. That reminds me, we need to find our Saturn and hook it up for my party next month.
We do.
Yeah, I'm going to be 40 years old next month, so I'm having a retro games party. We're going to attempt to hook up all 11 of my consoles. So that's going to be fun. Sega Saturns in the 1980s. Space is warped and time is bendable. Nicholas Mann saying, it's a bit of a shame that the 2011 Daytona port didn't have any new jingles. It could have been cool to hear jingles from Shenmue, Virtua Fighter 3-5, MJ or Sega Golf Club. Yeah, it would have been nice if they'd updated it that way. In fact, it would have been nice if that was a feature in more games. More games should do that. Are you listening, Sega? The answer is no, but we can dream. While there has not been any indication of a Saturn being found in Shenmue 2, one can be found within Shenmue 3. When you get to the point of the story where Ryo visits the Man Yuan Temple, you'll be instead shown to a back room where you are meant to look for information to progress the story. Instead, head directly to the display table / cabinet in front of you and open the bottom right drawer. Within this, you'll find a Saturn and a controller tucked inside. Interacting with this will zoom in on the console, and Ryo will comment, "Oh, this is..." Electro Boogaloo is pointing out that Shenmue did in fact start as a Saturn project. It did indeed. Until they went, yeah, this is not going to work for multiple reasons. It was in development for at least 5 years. It might have been slightly longer. I know it was the most expensive game ever produced up until that point. And yeah, the story of the development for that game is nuts. I might have to do an episode on it at some point. Moving on. Let's have some more music, shall we? So from Shenmue we have Secret of a Warehouse, and that was requested by Electric Boogaloo. And then after that we have from Shenmue 2, Pine Game Arcade. So enjoy those, and I'll be back after this.
The best Sega music, live shows, and the chance to request your favorites. This is RadioSega.net.
I see.
back. And that was Shenmue 2 Pine Game Arcade, and before that we had, from the original Shenmue, Secret of a Warehouse, which was requested by Electric Boogaloo. Doan suggested, however, that the secret of the warehouse is that it turns into a regular house during the full moon. Thanks for that, Doan. I'm sure the terrible joke was absolutely necessary.
Yes!
Quiet in the cheap seats! Nicholas Amanas also says that Takanobu Mitsuyoshi worked on Shenmue for 5 years, and Yu Suzuki made sure that the theme song was written really early on so that other developers could have a clear idea of the game's tone. That's pretty cool. 5 years is an incredibly long time to develop a game, though, especially back then. Jeez. Moving on. So lastly for Shenmue, we have a Street Fighter Easter egg. Another Street Fighter Easter egg. There have been a couple of Street Fighter Easter eggs. It's really odd. This one was only discovered a few years ago. In one of the QuickTime event fights, you can get Ryo to perform the Shin Shoryuken. However, to do this yourself, you actually do need to hack the game. The reason for this is that you need to perform certain actions, which would take 6 frames of animation to complete, but you only have a 3-frame window to do so. So it's literally impossible unless you actually take some action to hack the game to actually make it possible. That's kind of annoying because it's such a small thing. It wouldn't have been that much of a big deal to leave it in there rather than make it really difficult. This was done as the developers had originally intended to add the homage, but Yu Suzuki decided to have it removed. But the team did not get rid of it altogether, only designing it so it couldn't be triggered within the normal confines of the game. I don't really understand why he'd have that removed. I mean, if he was worried about Capcom getting annoyed about it, I mean, it's basically just a really fancy uppercut. It's not that big a deal. And it has been referenced in all of the things since then. So. Now then. A couple of other Dreamcast Easter eggs. Starting with one that was actually hidden within the VMU, the visual memory unit, for years. If you were to open up a VMU and look at the main chip, you will see that it has the word potato written on it. So, are Sega saying that their VMUs run on potato chips? No, Grey 4, that doesn't mean you can eat them.
I'll do this.
I give up. Anyway, moving on. After I've coughed my guts up. I'm fine! Everything is fine! Nicholas Amon saying, oh yeah, it was long. Mitsuyoshi worked at AM2 for 10 years and half of that was spent on Shenmue. Good lord. Although if you track his credits, he has way more games come out the closer he gets to Shenmue's release, like 1998 when he had just one song in Daytona USA, and some vocal performances in Burning Rangers. So presumably as the game was actually getting closer to release, he had less work to do, so he could work on other things at the same time. I don't think that's unusual. He composed one song in Daytona 2, and that was I Can Do It. And Electro Boogaloo's posted a picture of the chip from the VMU that does indeed say potato on it. It's not even like really tiny font either, it's like right there in the middle of the chip. Potato. There's a thing in consumer electronics, I mean going back to the 80s, where central chips had really strange names. There was things like the Amiga had things like the Fat Agnes and so on, which was just bizarre. The Super FX chip from the Super Nintendo was codenamed Mario, but it was Mario with a 1 instead of an I. So Ma10. Was the O a 0? I can't remember. It's definitely a 1 though. But will it run Doom? Somebody has almost certainly got Doom to run on a VMU. Somebody must have got Doom to run on a VMU. Somebody look that up for me, please. Because, yeah, I mean, it has to have happened because nerds are nerds. Right, let's move on. Well, while you're looking that up, I will continue with the next Easter egg. The next Easter egg was in a port, the unreleased Dreamcast port of Half-Life, where the game discs for Half-Life and VMUs could be found in the crates, which in other versions of the game would contain tech parts. In the Japanese version, the disc would be replaced with Sonic Adventure discs. So it's a bit recursive, because in the non-Japanese version you'd find a disc for Half-Life in the game of Half-Life. For recursion, see recursion. Oddly enough, I was actually talking about the VMU on a different Discord earlier today, because somebody mentioned Sonic Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed, and was like, oh, I should go back and play that, such a great game. I was like, have you unlocked Ages? Because he is the best. And somebody actually said, like, I couldn't figure out what it was meant to be, and I'm like, you were born after the Dreamcast was discontinued, weren't you? Yes, they were. They were born in 2005. Excuse me while I just go over here and turn into dust. Oh yeah, one other thing before we go into the music break for this. Because the Half-Life port on the Dreamcast was not released, I don't have access to the music. However, there is a PlayStation 2 version of it, which has a main menu theme, which is actually really popular, because it's actually very good. And Nicholas Aman managed to source an enhanced version from, I think it was from YouTube, by a person called Black Lambda 25. So thank you to Nick for sourcing that. So we've got from Shenmue 3 Master's Teaching, and then from Half-Life on the PS2 we have the main menu theme. So thank you again to Nick. Please enjoy these tracks, and I'll be back after this for the Chiptune Corner.
morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. This is Nicolas Aman, the demon ruler of the Radio Sega playlist, and you're listening to The Hidden Palace.
And we are back, and that was Half-Life, the main menu theme, the enhanced version by Black Lamp 25, sourced by our demon ruler of the Radio Sega playlist, Nicolas Aman. They've also posted a link to their YouTube page, and they've got a bunch of other kind of extended versions of the Half-Life OST. So go and listen if you want to. And then before that we had from Shenmue 3 Master's Teaching. So I hope you enjoyed those. And now it's on to Chiptune Corner. So in today's Chiptune Corner we have Barry Leach, who is a Scottish composer who has done work for a lot of games. That was mostly for the Atari ST, Amiga and NES era, including his work on titles such as Gauntlet Legends, Double Dragon and San Francisco Rush. As you can tell from the latter game, they were still working on video games up until at least the Dreamcast era. So, pretty special stuff. Definitely worth listening to. They have a Bandcamp page, which I will just find. There we go. So, I will play you a track from Lotus Turbo Challenge 2, which you can have a listen to. And if you like it, then I encourage you to visit their Bandcamp page and maybe buy some of their work. So this is Barry Leach and Lotus Turbo Challenge 2. Have a listen and let me know what you think. And we are back, and that was Barry Leach, Lotus Turbo Challenge 2. There's some great stereo effects in that track. Really, really good track. And Electric Boogaloo is saying that Barry Leach also composed one of their favourite songs to race with, which is a track called Night from San Francisco Rush 2049. So yeah, definitely worth checking out some more of his work. So thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. I have no idea what I'm going to be covering next time, but I do accept suggestions for topics to cover. You can reach me on Discord through Radio Sega Discord, or you can reach me by private message. I'm Skyblaze42 #5499, or you can reach me through Twitter where I am @BlazingSkies, or on Mastodon where I am BlazingSkies @tech.lgbt. Or you can reach me through the official Radio Sega Twitter, Discord and Mastodon pages. Coming up next, I think, is Gavi and SNS, if Gavi can persuade his laptop to work properly. So best of luck to him. And I think there should be some more LMC block, and of course Rex's Sega Mixer Drive tomorrow. Special thank, as always, to Twinny for his hard work on the socials. As usual, he's brilliant, and I don't know what we'd do without him. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in. One last track to go out on, and my husband has been playing Persona 3 Portable on the PlayStation 4, the remaster on the PlayStation 4. So, requested by him, we have from Persona 3, Burn My Dread Last Battle. So, I've been Skyblaze, and this has been The Hidden Palace here on Radio Sega. Yeah, Casey is coming back tomorrow with Night Train, so be sure to tune in for that, because Casey is brilliant. But yeah, I've been Skyblaze, this has been The Hidden Palace here on Radio Sega. Got one last track. Take care, everybody. Good night.
I will.
Stand, you can't cause this no man's land. Masters in heavy rain, ultimately fame. They shall slay, what they done is in vain. Counting AK-47, 24/7, but you got 11 persecuted by heaven. Comes through the direction, no indication. You got to let it move first, let it out, let it down, let it inside, let loose, let it in, depress. Let's get it up. Then what you gonna do is drop the hammer down, drop rhyme, drop hammer, take it like a labor. You got blood all over, ash all over. Spit it out, some game's over. The end is coming in, spit it out like a spear, I'll burn the dread. No soul, robust, be bust, justice to the man with no life. Tear up the fear, the end is coming in, spit it out like a spear, I'll burn the dread. No soul, robust, be bust, justice to the man with no life. That race against rage, damn, you the king, cause it's no man's land. Masters in heavy rain, ultimately fame. They shall slay, what they done is in vain. Counting AK-47, 24/7, but you got 11 persecuted by heaven. Comes through the direction. action, no indication. You got to let it move first, let it out, let it down, let it inside, let loose, let it dance, depress. Let's get it up. Then what you gonna do is drop the hammer down, drop rhyme, drop hammer, take it like a labor. You got blood all over, ash all over. Spit it out, some game's over. Tear up the fear, the end is coming in. Spit it out like a spear, I'll burn the dread. No soul, robust, go bust, be bust. Justice to the man with no life. Tear up the fear, the end is coming in. Spit it out like a spear, I'll burn the dread. No soul, robust, go dust, be bust. Justice to the man with no life.
Enjoyed the show? Check out the full Radio Sega live schedule at radiose.ga/shows. Radio Sega, playing the best Sega music 24/7.